Now, QQQI, or the NEOS Nasdaq 100 High Income ETF, is nothing new for most of us dividend investors. At this point, this ETF has been trading for almost 2 years, and most of us, including myself watching this video, probably already own some of this ETF in your long-term portfolio, have been getting paid tons of income on a monthly basis, and honestly are probably pretty happy with it. But just as of recently, I sort of changed my mind when it comes to this ETF and where I want to go moving forward. As far as my positioning goes, how many shares I wanted this one in my portfolio. And because this is sort of a dramatic shift, I do want to share with you guys in the hopes to always be as transparent as possible when it comes to sharing what I do in my portfolio. So if you guys want to learn more about QQQI and hear what I'm going to do with this ETF moving forward, then definitely stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. My A to Z dividend investing ebook has already helped countless dividend investors get started with their journey. And my custom dividend tracker, the one I use all the time on my videos, has also helped so many investors stay organized and has actually helped them see their dividend income grow. Well, today I have something even better for you guys. When you click the first link down below in my description and you grab my A to Z dividend investing ebook, today you're not only going to get the ebook, but you're also going to be getting the custom dividend tracker, which you can use to track your own dividend income ongoingly, get direct access to my personal email where you guys can email me any questions regarding dividend investing. You're also going to receive a link to view all of my holdings inside my 7-figure dividend portfolio and see all the positions I add and take away ongoingly. And you're going to get for absolutely free my brand new high yield dividend investing ebook, where I show you the power of maximizing some of these high yielding ETFs and teach you everything there is to know about that also. This is going to be your one shot to grab everything inside of one single bundle, but you got to move quick because I'm not going to offer this for long. Now, with all that, let's get back into the video. Now, again, this ETF, like I mentioned during the intro, is nothing new. I'm sure a lot of you guys, and comment down below if you do, but I'm sure a lot of you already hold on to this one. I've been buying this ETF on and off ever since it started trading back in early 2024. Now, as of the filming of this video, I think I have around 950 shares of this ETF, which cost around $55 per share or so. So I already have around a $50,000 position of this ETF in my portfolio, if I'm not mistaken, which is definitely decent size. But as of recently, I'm changing my mind and I want to do something very different moving forward. Now, just to back things up for a second, what even is this ETF? Why am I talking about it in the first place? Why do I like it or not like it? This ETF's objective is to seek to generate high monthly income in a tax efficient manner with the potential for equity appreciation. The NEOS Nasdaq 100 High Income ETF offers exactly what it sounds like. It offers you Nasdaq 100 exposure, but through a high income strategy, offering investors, as of right now at least, around 14.5% distribution rate. Now, some of the main reasons I bought into this ETF in the first place is because it invests in the constituents of the Nasdaq 100 index and then, of course, uses a data-driven call option strategy. And in the past, I've been very vocal about the fact that I do want to have a lot of Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500 exposure, but I've always been very honest with you guys, saying that I want a lot more S&P 500 exposure through SPYI, which I currently own a lot more of than this ETF. Now, the more I've been looking into the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100, two solid indexes that I do want exposure to both of in my portfolio, I've been asking myself more and more, why don't you necessarily want more Nasdaq 100 exposure in your portfolio, especially when the Nasdaq 100 has some of the fastest growing, most important companies within it. Not only that, this index also is higher beta than the S&P 500, so there is the potential at least for a lot more growth and, or maybe most importantly, a lot more income generation when we're talking about a covered call style ETF. Now, sure, the Nasdaq 100 is higher beta, so it does have the potential to lose value a little bit quicker than that of the S&P 500, depending on what's happening in the markets. But still, if I'm going to be honest with myself, some of the top names in the Nasdaq 100 are definitely some names I don't have enough exposure to as of right now in my portfolio. And as of recently, I've been finding myself more and more interested in having some more Mag 7 exposure, some different technology names inside the portfolio, just because I have been lacking that during the past cycle. Now, with this ETF specifically, obviously this is a high income ETF. This ETF is never probably going to outperform the Nasdaq index on its own, but this ETF is going to offer high monthly income generation. It has now for almost 2 years. The income is very tax efficient. Tons of ROC, return of capital, is given out when it comes to this ETF, which is very important to me. There is also some upside potential with this ETF. It has grown a little bit. There's absolutely been no price decay if you look at this ETF's price return since inception. And all in all, simply put, QQQI pretty much just offers exactly what it says it's going to offer, at least so far. It's offered high monthly income around 14-15% yield, very consistent payouts at that, around 60 cents per share per month on average. But maybe most importantly, this ETF, even though it's a high income ETF, even though it does have somewhat of a capped upside, this ETF has been able to track the underlying Nasdaq 100 on the total return metric very, very closely. Looking at total return as a metric, this ETF, since it started trading, has offered investors altogether with dividends and price performance included around 38% return, which is not bad whatsoever. That's around 20% per year on average. But here's the real kicker for me. This ETF stacked up right next to the Qs, which are very hard to outperform, especially during a time frame like we've had. This ETF has offered around 38% total return, where the Qs have offered around 42%. Now you might be asking me, well, why are you excited at the fact that this high income ETF did not even outperform the underlying index? And my response to that would simply be, whenever you're chasing an ETF or buying into an ETF that offers high income generation and that has somewhat of a capped upside because of the option overlay, it's very rare that it's going to outperform the underlying uncapped index. And the fact that it's only around 4% difference, 4% delta during this time frame, I think is very impressive and sort of shows you the power, or at least the potential power, of QQQI over different time frames. So what am I personally going to be doing different when it comes to the NEOS Nasdaq 100 high income ETF moving forward? As of recent, I really haven't been adding any more of this one to my portfolio, maybe a little bit here and there on red days, but moving forward, especially if we see a dip in the market, a dip in the Nasdaq, I definitely want to add a lot more of this ETF to my long-term portfolio and possibly even surpass my current favorite ETF, SPYI, the S&P 500 high income version, just because I really do want to have some more Nasdaq 100 exposure. And this ETF also offers a few more points as far as distribution rate goes. So even though in the past I have said that the S&P 500 is the main underlying I want to have exposure to long-term in my portfolio, moving forward, I do plan on adding a lot more Nasdaq 100 through this ETF specifically and others, just because I really want to have that exposure in my portfolio in the future. So now that we talked about the NEOS Nasdaq 100 high income ETF, one of my favorite ETFs across the entire market, probably number 2 next to SPYI. And I share with you guys the fact that in the past, even though I do own this ETF, I really haven't been adding much more of it in a long time. But I do want to change that very soon here and add a lot more of this ETF to my portfolio. I lastly, most importantly, have a question for you guys down below. When it comes to Nasdaq 100 exposure, whether it's through this ETF or another one, what's your favorite ticker symbol that I should look into next if, of course, I do want Nasdaq 100 high income exposure? Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.